Hello and welcome to our new series of minisodes with author and social media strategist Zoe Lea. It's great to have you with us, Zoe. Would you like to start by introducing yourself to our listeners and watchers?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Nikki. And it's lovely to be here. So my name's Zoe Lea and I am the author of two psychological thrillers, The Secretary and If He Wakes. And I'm also a social media strategist, particularly for authors. So I help authors and writers sell their books via social media.
Oh, that's brilliant. But yes, each mini-sode will be around 10 minutes long. And we'll focus on all the do's and don'ts of social media and how to grow followers and sell books. So without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to Minisode 2. So this minisode is all about how to grow followers on social media. Now, Zoe, I heard that it's best not to be constantly selling and promoting your own books. So what kind of posts help to grow followers?
Okay, I'm going to change followers to another word. I'm going to say community, because everybody says, oh, I need big followers, and look at the follower count. And I get that. I'm the same. You get obsessed with follower counts, but it's no good having thousands of followers if they're not looking at your posts, if they're not engaging. It's far better to have a small community where you put a post out and they are commenting and they're invested and they're, you've got that connection with them. So I would say these posts are best for growing community. And if you think of it like that, instead of how can I get followers, then your whole perspective changes on it. So the best thing for growing community are ones that are posts that, you give advice or tips or book recommendations or just chatting to your community of lovely readers. So you're asking for their advice. Give a good call to action at the end of every post, which is what you want the viewer or the watcher to do afterwards. Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to share this post? Do you want them to sign up to your newsletter? Always have that in. And basically just think of yourself as speaking to a lovely, warm group of people, asking them, making sure that you're listening. Go and engage on their posts as well, letting them know it's a two-way street. And once you do that, your following count will naturally rise because people will see that looks like a lovely place to be. I want to be part of that community. And that's naturally how you'll grow. Does that answer the question?
Right. Yes, I think,
that's so lovely. A community, that makes you sound so much nicer as well. I can see exactly what you mean. It's got to be balanced, or the audience will get bored or annoyed, as you say. You can't just be, this is my book, it's nice to have you, bye. So I do put personal stuff on my social media as well, but it's pretty boring for me because my life's pretty boring. So it's often, here's my laptop with my coffee cup again.
Or here's my cat. Yes.
Here's my dog. I'm working.
None of that is boring.
But I do share little bits about my kids and my private life. But what if people don't want to share details about their private lives? What can they do to sort of continue to engage in the community and be seen as a real person as well, rather than just like a bot or just like a wooden author, Like give more of yourself, but at the same time, not everyone wants to share personal details.
Yeah, and you don't need to, because it's crazy now, because when you're looking at other accounts and you see everybody, some people share way too much information, which I think gives you the urge that you're like, oh gosh, I've got to really take a photograph of my lunch and I've got to like show them exactly what I'm doing. And the thing is that nobody really cares about that because you've got to remember, and I do it as well, we all do it. You go on social media to entertain yourself. Everybody's only interested in themselves. So if you don't want to share, personal, private things, then don't. Set boundaries. The thing is all about what's comfortable for you. And even if you don't want to show your face, let's say that is the boundary. I don't even want to show my face. You can absolutely do a lot of social media posts without showing that. You could do just footage of your hands typing at the keyboard. You can do a lot of quotes. So for instance, let's say that you've written a book that's set in the mountains, a thriller set in the mountains. And in this book, a lot of the things are describing about survival. Let's say, for instance, off the top of my head. So a lot of your social media feed could be about surviving in the mountains, pictures of the mountains, the research that you did, because you've got to think that the people who are going to pick that book up have got an interest in those themes. So it's about taking the themes out of your book and seeing how they would resonate on an emotional connection, like an emotive response with the viewers and watchers. So instead of like, this is what I had for my tea, I'm going out for a walk, I'm going, you know, this is my cat, which are all great, but you think those are the personal things. Remember that people are watching and coming to you and they're invested in you because you are a brilliant author and you have these wonderful books and they want more of that. So set boundaries, and yes, share your writing room, share your writing process, all of that. You can share it all on a professional level, show you're human, without having to sort of go, this is my wedding photos, or these are my, you know, like that kind of private life things. Is that okay? Like, you know, does that?
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And I know you say you don't have to show your face, but I don't know about you, but if I'm engaging with someone on like Twitter and their profile picture isn't their face, I'm always slightly wary because like I'm like, is this someone pretending to be someone else? All about balance, really, isn't it, between being a real person and being showing enough of yourself, but not all of yourself, I guess.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with. Set boundaries. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I find I'm quite good at posting lots of content when I'm not on a deadline, because I get bored and then I'm like, oh, what can I do on social media? But when I get kind of too wrapped up in my writing, my posts completely drop. And it does take me, I don't know about you, Lauren, but it takes me quite a bit of time to kind of do social media posts. I mean, Twitter, I can tend to kind of reply to things as and when, but kind of if I do a TikTok or something, that seems to take forever. So I know there are some websites that you can use that you can kind of plan, as you said, Zoe, because planning is very important, we now know, with strategy, and schedule kind of your social media posts. So can you explain how some of those scheduling sites, I think, is it like Hootsuite, work, and whether they're a help or a hindrance to authors?
Yeah, absolutely. I love them and I think they're a massive help. And you can get some free versions, but there are quite a few paid ones. And there's loads of these. So you'll just have to do your research to see which is right for you. But the best thing about them is, like you say, if you've got time, like you're not on a deadline and you've set yourself up to record a little TikTok, record 5 TikToks and then schedule them in. So it's all about batch creating content when you're feeling confident, when you've done your hair or whatever, your camera ready, or you're feeling good. Get as much out of that as you can, because you'll find that once you create one, especially if it's like a reel or a TikTok and you're talking to camera, you're in the mood then. And it's the setting up that I find that takes time. Yeah. So once you've set up, why not record 2 or 3? So you can batch create content, and then using the scheduling tools that we just talked about, then you can go ahead and plan them out to keep to that consistent, you know, weekly sort of regime that you can keep up. So you can think, right, well, I do this one on a Thursday, this one on a Friday or whatever, and then in the following Mondays I post when I sell my book. So you know it all. And they're also good, like they have a calendar view. So as we were talking before about making a plan, and so you're saying, right, I'm going to do, so say you've got like what we call content pillars. So you've got 4 themes, and you might say, right, my first one is about my writing process. My second one is about my writing research. I'm just off the top of my head. My third one is going to be a salesy post. And so you can see where they come in. So you're not bombarding your audience or your community with just buy now. And you can see the different, like channels that are coming up. So they are very good. I would recommend them. Yeah.
I need to be making notes. I'm going to be watching this with my pen and notebook. Right, what the 4 pillars, everybody? Do we all get that?
4 pillars, not bye. Yes.
Yes. So interesting. I just like thinking about everything I post on Twitter and like how nonsense it is now. It's just me chatting to my mates. But
yeah. Also fine, because don't forget, we've all got to be authentic and real, and all of that is lovely. These are all just tools to make your life easier, because we've all got books to write, and that's the priority. This is sort of like the second bit, because we want the books to write, but it's no good selling the books if you're not writing the book. So it's kind of that way around.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And you're right, Nikki, it does take time for me. I'm fine on TikTok, not on TikTok, I'm fine on Twitter, because that's the one I'm like you, that's my go-to. But Instagram, I'm not quite as familiar with, and TikTok especially. I spent like 3 hours doing a TikTok on Saturday morning when I should have been writing, and I could just feel myself getting so frustrated with myself. So I was like, this is my writing time, what am I doing? But as you say, I had my hair done, so I was like, I've got to do it. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for listening to our mini-sode with social media strategist Zoe Lea. And thank you, Zoe, for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved chatting with you two always, so thank you.
Oh, it was lovely to have you, Zoe. And I should remind our listeners that Zoe is the best-selling psychological fiction author of If He Waits and The Secretary, both of which available to buy right now. And Zoe is also a social media strategist. So for more information and how to see how Zoe might be able to help you, sign up for her weekly newsletter, which is full of social media tips for authors on Substack under the Author's Guide to. Or you can go and have a look at her website, which is at zoelea.com, and that's LEA.com.
And all the links are in the descriptions of this episode, no matter where you're watching or listening. But that's it for us. So it's a goodbye from Zoe.
Bye.
And it's a goodbye from us. Goodbye.
Bye.